I shot my husband in the knee with his own gun the night he confessed to framing me for embezzlement, but I didn't call the cops. Not yet, because the real bullet I wanted to fire was the one that would unravel his empire of lies. The blood pooling on our marble kitchen floor wasn't the shock. It was a smile on my face as I watched him writhe, knowing I'd finally claimed back the 5 years of my life he'd stolen. And in that moment, as sirens wailed closer, summoned by the nosy neighbor who'd heard the crack, I whispered the secret he'd buried. "Your daughter's not yours, Mark. She's mine, and the devils who helped me plan this." My name is Olivia Harper, and for the last 5 years, I've been living a lie so thick it choked me every morning when I woke up in that McMansion in Greenwich, Connecticut. Not the kind of lie that fades with a stiff drink or a therapist's nod. Oh no, this was the American dream twisted into a nightmare, the sort where you smile for the PDA meetings while plotting how to bury your spouse 6 feet under without getting your hands dirty. It started innocently enough, or so I told myself back then, in the haze of newlywed bliss and Wall Street ambition. Mark and I met at a rooftop gala in Manhattan, the kind where champagne flows like the Hudson and everyone's wearing masks made of money. He was the golden boy of Harper Investments, tall, broad-shouldered, with that easy grin that made you forget he was calculating your net worth while shaking your hand. I was the rising star paralegal at a boutique firm, sharp as a stiletto, dreaming of partnership and a life beyond the grind of my Queens upbringing. We fucked in the coat room that night, urgent and animal, the coats muffling our gasps like conspirators. By morning, he had my number, and by week's end, he had my heart, or at least that's what I thought. Flash forward 2 years. Wedding in the Hamptons, vows exchanged under a tent that cost more than my parents' house, and a honeymoon in Tuscany where he promised me the world. "You're my partner in everything, Liv," he'd say, his breath hot against my neck as we tangled in 800 thread count sheets. Partner. What a joke. Turns out, in Mark's dictionary, partner meant scapegoat. The betrayal didn't hit like a thunderclap. It slithered in, slow and venomous, disguised as love. It was a Tuesday in late summer, the kind where the air in our open-plan office hums with the promise of early cocktails. Mark's firm was riding high, tech startups pouring in cash, hedge funds blooming like toxic flowers. I was handling the legal side, drafting NDAs and shielding deals from the SEC's prying eyes. That's when he came to me with the opportunity. A client, some shadowy VC named Victor Kane, wanted to launder a chunk through Harper Investments, nothing major, just enough to grease palms and dodge taxes. "It's victimless, babe," Mark murmured over stake it per se. "We're building our future. Think of the nursery." I should have walked then. My gut twisted like a knife in a wound, but love, or what I mistook for it, blinded me. I fudged the paperwork, buried the trail in shell companies registered in Delaware. It felt thrilling, like we were Bonnie and Clyde and Brooks Brothers. But Victor Kane wasn't some harmless hustler. He was a ghost from Mark's past, a college buddy turned predator who'd clawed his way up from Jersey docks to boardrooms by any means necessary. And when the Fed started sniffing around, whispers of a whistleblower in the ranks, Mark didn't protect me. He fed me to the wolves. The raid came at dawn, 6 months later. Black SUVs screeching up our driveway, agents in windbreakers swarming like locusts. They dragged me out in my silk robe, cuffs biting into my wrists, while Mark stood in the doorway, feigning shock. "Olivia? What the hell?" He gasped for the cameras that miraculously appeared. Leaked tip, my ass. I spent 3 months in pretrial detention, the kind of hellhole where the walls weep mold and the guards leer like it's their birthright. My firm fired me. Our friends ghosted. My parents, God rest them, died of shame before the plea deal even hit the table. But here's the kicker. I took the fall. 5 years probation, a felony record that barred me from every law job east of the Mississippi, and a restitution payment that drained our joint accounts dry. Mark? He walked away unscathed, promoted even because Victor Kane had his back, and because Mark pinned it all on me. She acted alone, his lawyers argued, painting me as the ambitious bitch chasing a quick buck. The secret he buried? The real embezzlement wasn't Victor's play, it was Mark's. He'd skimmed millions from his own father's trust, a desperate bid to cover gambling debts from Atlantic City benders with Victor. I covered for him because he swore it was a one-time thing, because he cried in my arms and promised reform. Liar. Out on probation, I played the dutiful wife, smiled at barbecues, volunteered at the library, whispered, "I love you," through gritted teeth. But inside, rage festered like an open sore. I started digging, not the frantic clawing of a desperate woman, but methodical, surgical. Late nights in the guest room, laptop glowing like a confessional, I traced the money trails I'd once helped hide. Blockchain ledgers, offshore emails, Victor's Cayman accounts. Piece by piece, the puzzle reformed. Mark wasn't just a cheat. He was a chameleon, flipping loyalties like poker chips. Victor thought he owned Mark, but Mark had been playing him too, siphoning extra for a Swiss slush fund. And me? I was the patsy, the human shield. The first crack appeared at our annual holiday party, that glittering farce in our great room with twinkling lights and eggnog spiked with regret. Victor was there, all slicked back hair and Cuban cigars, his arm around a blonde half his age who looked like she'd been ordered from a catalog. He cornered me by the mistletoe, reeking of scotch. "Heard you got off easy, Olivia. Mark's got a soft spot for you." His laugh was a bark, eyes appraising me like livestock. I forced a smile, fingers tightening around my champagne flute. "Soft spots get infected, Victor. Best to lance them early." He chuckled, dismissing me, but I saw it, the flicker of unease. That night, as guests milled and Bing Crosby crooned, I slipped into Mark's study. His laptop was open, password a joke. Our anniversary. There it was, the smoking gun. Encrypted files labeled contingency. Emails to a fixer in Miami, blueprints for framing Victor, if the heat turned up. Mark wasn't loyal to anyone, not me, not Victor. He was a snake shedding skins, always one betrayal ahead. I didn't confront him then. No, revenge isn't a scream. It's a whisper that echoes. I started small. Anonymous tips to Victor's rivals, whispers in dark web forums about Harper's vulnerabilities. Mark noticed the stock dips, the boardroom murmurs, but he blamed the market, the Chinese, anyone but the ghost in his bed. Meanwhile, I rebuilt in shadows. Enrolled in online coding courses, ironic, the felon hacking her way back. Learned to ghost through firewalls, to plant digital breadcrumbs that led straight to Mark's door. Spring brought the first real move. Our daughter, Lily, God, that child, with her wild curls and eyes like storm clouds, was turning 4. The party was at the club, pastel balloons and a bounce house that mocked my shattered innocence. Mark was in rare form, charming the trust fund moms, his hand possessive on my waist. But under the table, my phone buzzed, a text from an untraceable number. "Meet me. 10 p.m. The Pier." No signature, but I knew. Victor. I told Mark I had a migraine, slipped out in my Volvo, heart pounding like a war drum. The pier in Stamford stretched into the Long Island Sound like a skeletal finger, waves slapping concrete under sodium lamps. Victor waited, overcoat flapping, a cigarette dangling from lips curled in disdain. "You got balls sending those tips, Olivia. Thought you were the quiet type." I leaned against the railing, salt air stinging my eyes. "Quiet gets you probation. Loud gets you free." He laughed again, but it was thinner, edged with something feral. That's when he flipped, offered me a deal. "Mark's screwing me, yeah. But you? You're the key. Help me bury him, and I'll clear your name. Full expungement. New life." Tempting. So tempting. Victor was no saint. His empire was built on bones. Rumors of coerced suicides, rivals vanishing into witness protection. But he was power, raw and unfiltered, the kind that could rewrite my felony into a footnote. I played coy, let him think he had me. "What's the play?" He outlined it. Plant evidence in Mark's Cayman accounts, tie it to a bigger laundering ring Victor would expose for brownie points with the feds. I'd be the whistleblower, hero of the hour. Mark rots, I rise. But as he talked, I saw the trap. Victor flipping on me next, once Mark was neutralized. Snakes don't travel solo. I agreed, shook his hand under the moon, then drove home with a plan of my own. Betrayal begets betrayal. I'd make them devour each other, and I'd watch from the ruins, picking the bones clean. The months blurred into a fevered dream of duplicity. By day, I was Olivia the homemaker, baking muffins for Lily's preschool, lunching with wives who eyed my comeback like a sideshow. By night, I was a phantom, VPNs masking my IP, burner phones for Victor's updates, code script siphoning data from Mark's servers. He grew paranoid, snapping at assistants, installing cameras in the house. For security, live after your trouble. I smiled, let him watch me fold laundry, while my laptop hid in the dryer vent, feeding him false trails. Victor moved fast, greedy. He wanted blood, not just ruin, insisted on a confrontation to rattle Mark. We staged it at a charity gala in the city, black ties and ball gowns masking the rot beneath. I wore red, silk clinging like a second skin, Mark's arm heavy around me as we posed for photos. Victor approached during the auction, bid sky-high on a Warhol just to draw eyes. "Harper," he boomed, clapping Mark's back too hard.
"Heard you're expanding.
"Need a silent partner?" Mark's jaw tightened, but he played cool. "Always room for friends, Vic." The undercurrent crackled. Old debts, unspoken threats. I excused myself, heart slamming, and slipped into the coat room again. History echoes, doesn't it? This time, no passion, just a USB drive, loaded with partial files I doctored to implicate Victor in Mark's schemes. Planted it in his overcoat pocket, a digital Trojan horse. Back at the table, the tension simmered. Mark whispered, "What's with him tonight?" I shrugged, sipping wine that tasted like ash. Old ghosts. By dessert, Victor was sweating, phone buzzing with alerts, his accounts flagged, feds circling like vultures. He shot me a glare across the room, accusation burning.
"Good.
Let the flip begin." Mark smelled opportunity. 2 days later, he came to me in our bed, sheets tangled from half-hearted sex. "Victor's slipping. If we move now." He trailed off, eyes gleaming with that predator shine. I feigned sleep, but my mind raced. He was flipping too, planning to sell Victor out to the board, claim the moral high ground. But he'd need proof, the kind only I could forge. I gave it to him. Fabricated ledgers showing Victor's control over Harper funds, timestamps backdated to my embezzlement days. Mark ate it up, kissed my forehead like I was his savior. "You're brilliant, Liv. We do this together." Together. The words soured in my mouth. As summer scorched the suburbs, the web tightened. Victor called me frantic, demanding I sabotage Mark's pitch to the board. "He's coming for me, because of you." I stalled, fed him half-truths, while slipping Mark intel on Victor's Miami fixer. They circled each other like sharks in chummed waters, and I was the chum, invisible, essential. Lily's birthday loomed again. No, wait, that was last year. Time fractures and vendettas. It was her school play now, a saccharine nutcracker where she twirled as a snowflake, innocent in tulle. Mark missed it, stuck in meetings, but I sat front row, clapping till my palms burned, tears blurring the stage. That night, alone with takeout and rage, I crossed the line. Hacked Victor's personal server, child's play with his vanity password, and found the crown jewel, photos. Not the sexy kind. The damning. Mark and Victor, arms around a third man, a ghost from their frat days, all grinning over a briefcase in a Vegas hotel. The date? 9 months before Lily was born. My world tilted. Lily, our miracle, the IVF baby we'd fought for. Was it Mark's? The clinic mix-up? Bullshit. This was deliberate, a twisted insurance policy. Victor's sperm, anonymous donor my ass. They'd laughed about it. Emails attached to the pics. Harper's got a cane air now. Locked in. Betrayal's echo roared. I didn't cry, I planned. The gala flip was child's play compared to this. I'd make them pay, not with guns or feds, but with the truth's slow poison. Autumn painted Connecticut in blood reds and golds, but my world was monochrome. Every leaf a reminder of decay. Lily's curls bounced as she chased fireflies in the yard, her laughter a dagger. Innocent, untainted, yet tethered to monsters. I watched from the kitchen window, wine glass trembling, the revelation festering like untreated gangrene. Mark and Victor, those frat boy fuck-ups, had played God with my womb, turning our family into a corporate merger. Lily was leverage, a genetic handcuff to ensure loyalty. And me, the broodmare, grateful for the miracle, while they high-fived over my naivety. I didn't shatter the illusion overnight. No. Revenge demands patience, the slow boil that leaves no scorch marks. First, I confirmed it, dug deeper into Victor's files, cross-referenced clinic records with blockchain donations. There it was, a charitable contribution from V. Kane Enterprises, anonymized but traceable with the right tools. Rage crystallized into resolve. I'd use Lily not as a weapon, but as the mirror to reflect their ugliness back, amplified. Mark sensed the shift, of course. He was a reader of rooms, a poker face honed on Wall Street floors. Your distant live, he'd say over dinner, fork spearing salmon like it owed him money. Probation blues again? I'd force a laugh, deflect with PDA gossip or Lily's latest drawing, a family of stick figures, hearts orbiting like satellites. But at night, when his snores rattled the rafters, I'd slip downstairs, the house creaking like an accomplice. My network grew, shadowy tendrils reaching into the underbelly. A contact from my hacking forums, Ghostwire, a disgraced IT guy from Silicon Valley, became my Virgil, guiding through Dante's Code Inferno. For a cut of the spoils, he helped me build the beast, a worm that burrowed into both men's systems, siphoning data in real time. Emails, voicemails, even dictation notes where Mark ranted about that cane prick thinking he owns me. Victor's were worse, threats to disappear loose ends, coded references to past accidents. The first strike landed soft, a feint to test defenses. I leaked a sanitized version of the Vegas photos to a financial blogger, deep throat trades on Substack. No faces, just shadows and a briefcase, captioned, "Frat pranks or felonies. Harper and Kane's dirty secret." The post went viral in niche circles, crypto Twitter, Reddit's r/Wall Street bets, stirring murmurs but no flames. Mark panicked, called an emergency board meeting, blaming hacktivists. Victor texted me at 2 a.m. "Your handiwork? Fix it or the deal's off." I replied with a smiley emoji, then escalated. Planted the full ledger, my forgery tying their funds to a Ponzi scheme, in an SEC tip line, routed through a VPN in Bucharest. The feds bit, issuing subpoenas that hit like gut punches. Mark came home pale, tie askew, slamming cabinet doors. "Someone's gunning for us. You hear anything at book club?" Book club, code for my therapy group of suburban spies. I played dumb, brewed chamomile tea. Maybe it's karma, Mark. For all the shortcuts. He froze, cup midway to his lips, eyes narrowing. For a heartbeat, I thought he'd snap, confess, beg. Instead, he softened, pulled me close. "You're right. We've been through hell. Let's start fresh, sell the house, move to Napa. Wine country. You, me, Lily." His voice dripped sincerity, but I felt the flip, the calculation. Isolate me, cut ties to Victor's orbit. Victor's laugh was bitter, smoke curling from his nostrils. "That weasel? I've got dirt that'll bury him." He leaned in, breath sour. "But you're the wild card. Join me, really join. I know about the kid." My blood iced.
"How?"
"A bluff?" "No," his eyes held the truth. "Lily's DNA report, probably swiped from our pediatrician. She's got my blood, yeah? Leverage. But I could make her an heiress. Walk away from this shitshow rich." The offer hung, poisonous fruit. Victor flipping again, from foe to foe father, dangling dynasty. I could taste it, the power, the absolution. No more probation shadows, a trust fund for Lily untainted by Mark's greed. But trust a snake? I'd seen his kind molt loyalties leave skins of broken lives. "And Mark?" I whispered. He shrugged. "Collateral. We frame him for the whole ring. You as the reluctant witness. Heroes welcome." I nodded, sealed it with a handshake that felt like signing my soul. But as I drove home, rain lashing the windshield, I plotted the double cross. They'd both burn. I'd fan the flames from afar. Winter clamped down, holidays a grotesque pantomime. Turkey at my sister's in Boston, Mark charming aunts with tales of turnarounds, while I excused myself to vomit in the powder room. Not morning sickness, just bile from the lies. Lily unwrapped dolls and giggled, oblivious, her resemblance to Victor's old frat pics haunting me. Those eyes, storm clouds, indeed, brewing from his jeans. The climax brewed in January, a board retreat at a lodge in the Berkshires. Mark invited me as moral support, a first. Snow blanketed the pines, fireplaces roaring, but the air crackled with boardroom knives. Victor crashed it uninvited, striding in like a gunslinger, entourage in tow. "Gentleman and lady," he nodded at me. "Time for a family reunion." The confrontation erupted in the library, leather chairs and brandy snifters witnesses to the unmasking. Mark rose, face thunder. "What the fuck are you doing here, Vic?" Victor smirked, tossing a tablet on the oak table. My worm's harvest, emails and ledgers spilling like entrails. "Cleaning house. Your boy's been skimming board. And not just cash, sperm donations to seal deals." Gasps rippled. Mark lunged, fists flying, but security, Victor's, hauled him back. I stood frozen, the polarization hitting like whiplash. Was Victor the villain, exposing rot? Or Mark, the betrayed husband fighting for his legacy? The board split, old guard loyal to Harper blood, new blood eyeing Victor's deeper pockets. Shouts echoed, "Traitor! Thief!" as accusations flew. Then Mark turned to me, eyes pleading. "Liv, tell them. It's her, the embezzlement bitch started it all." The room hushed, stares pinning me like specimens. Victor chuckled. "Oh, she's clean. My star witness." Flip. The board murmured, doubts seeding. I could end it, confess my forgeries, take the fall again, save Mark for Lily's sake. Or ignite, reveal the DNA, shatter the empire on personal grounds. My throat burned, decision teetering. "Mark," I said, voice steady, "you framed me. But Victor? He's the father." Chaos. The tablet clattered, photos flashing, Vegas, the briefcase, clinic receipts. Board members recoiled. Mark howled. Lies. Victor blanched, his flip exposed. "Olivia, you bitch." But it was done. Feds, tipped by my final anonymous ping, burst in subpoenas, cuffs, the full circus. As they dragged them out, snow swirling outside, the board turned to me. "Mrs. Harper?" One wheezed, "Tie loose." Polarized, savior or saboteur. I smiled, Lily's face in my mind. "Call me Olivia Kane. For now." But the twist? As Mark was shoved into the cruiser, he locked eyes with me through the window.
"She's not his Liv."
"The clinic, it was you. Your egg, my sperm. Victor's just the money man."
Lie?
Truth? The report I'd found. Doctored? My world spun again, betrayal's echo mocking. Was Lily ours? Or had I been played by phantoms? The Berkshires Lodge faded in the rear view as I sped back to Connecticut, wipers battling a blizzard that mirrored my mind storm. Mark's parting words clawed at me. She's not his. A venomous hook lodged deep. Was it desperation? A final flip to wound? Or the ultimate secret, making my revenge a farce? Lily waited at home with the sitter, thumb in mouth, asking for daddy's stories. I tucked her in with mechanical hugs, then locked myself in the study, unearthing the original clinic files I'd stashed in a cloud vault. Hours bled into dawn, coffee cold, as I dissected every bite. The DNA report Victor hoarded? Forged, timestamps manipulated by a sloppy hand, not mine. The real one, buried in Harper servers. Match confirmed. Lily was Mark's biological daughter. The IVF a straight shot, no shadowy donation. Victor's leverage was bluff, a scare tactic to pull me into his fold. And the Vegas pics? Incriminating, yes, but the briefcase held poker chips, not plots, a drunken bet on a championship game, Emails joking about sealing the deal with booze, not biology. I'd been played by both, but worse, by my own fury. The worm's data painted it clear. Mark had planted the fake report in Victor's files months ago, anticipating a flip, using it as mutually assured destruction. Victor, sensing the ploy, tried to preempt by dangling it over me. Snakes devouring tails, and I'd struck at shadows. Rage twisted anew, not diluted but refined, sharper, deadlier. No more proxies. This was personal, the kind of vendetta that leaves scars on the soul. Morning brought the headlines. Wall Street shakedown. Harper and Kane in custody. CNBC looped chopper footage of the lodge, pundits dissecting the frat boy fallout. Social media erupted. Harpergate trending, memes of suited skeletons dancing on graves. The board issued a statement. Interim leadership pending investigation. Mrs. Harper's cooperation noted. Cooperation. As if I hadn't orchestrated the symphony. Reporters swarmed the driveway by noon, vans idling like predators. I faced them in yoga pants and a Harvard sweatshirt. Ironic, since law school felt a lifetime ago. Voice steady for the mics. My family was destroyed by greed. I'm just a mom seeking justice. Soundbites for the ages. Inside, Lily colored quietly, sensing the chaos but not its weight. Is Daddy in trouble, Mommy? Her whisper gutted me. Just a timeout, sweetie. He'll be home soon. But home? Never. The feds grilled me that afternoon, a sterile office in Hartford smelling of stale donuts and authority. Special Agent Ruiz, a no-nonsense Latina with a stare like laser sights, slid photos across the table. The ledgers, the worm's trail. You tipped us, Mrs. Harper. And those forgeries, your handiwork. I met her gaze, channeling every courtroom drama I'd binge-watched in detention. Self-preservation. They framed me first. Check the originals.
She did.
Hours later, cuffs off, a nod of respect. You're walking for now. But if this blows back. The threat hung, unspoken. Accessory after the fact. I drove home lighter, probation lifted in whispers, Victor's promised expungement kicking in, greased by his lawyer's panic. Freedom tasted like ash, though. Revenge's afterglow is hollow. Mark called from lockup that night, voice tinny through the receiver. Liv, listen. It was all Victor, the report, the threats. I protected you. Lies still flipping even in chains. I hung up, blocked the number. Victor's call followed, from a different jail. You fucked us both, Olivia. But Lily, my blood? We'll see. Delusional to the end. Spring thawed the ground, but not my heart. With the house in escrow, sold to a tech bro eyeing character, I packed boxes, each artifact a landmine. Mark's cufflinks, Victor's signed book on disruptive finance, the clinic folder now ash in the fireplace. Lily asked questions, big for a 5-year-old. Why no more parties? I spun tales of adventures ahead, a condo in the city, just us girls. But nights, alone, the polarization gnawed. Friends, former, texted judgments. You destroyed 2 empires, Liv. For what? Online, forums split. Team Harper, loyalty uber Alice. Team Kane, cutthroat capitalism. Team Olivia, feminist firebrand or vengeful harpy. The real twist slithered in May. A manila envelope slipped under the door. No return address. Inside, a thumb drive and a note in block letters. The echo stops here. Curiosity. That cat killer? 1. Plugging it in, my laptop hummed to life. Videos, grainy but clear. Not porn, not payoffs, therapy sessions. Marks, from a discreet clinic in the city. Him, raw and unraveling. I love her, Doc, but the debts. Victor said the donation would bind him to me, keep the money flowing.
I didn't think she'd find out.
Wait, donation? But the DNA. Deeper files, transcripts. Mark confessing the framed job. She took the fall so I could rebuild. It's eating me. Tears in his voice, genuine. And Victor? A separate session, leaked somehow. Harper's weak. The kid's mine, insurance. But Olivia. She's the real threat. Smart. Too smart. The drive's final file, an audio of them, post-raid, in holding. Mark to Victor. We tell her the truth, or she burns us both. Victor's laugh. Truth? The kid's neither of ours. Clinic mix-up for real. We planted the fakes to control her. Rage makes puppets.
Boom.
The world inverted. Lily wasn't Mark's, nor Victor's, a true accident. Anonymous donor sperm swapped in the lab's frenzy. They'd fabricated the entire paternity war to manipulate me, knowing my maternal fury would blind me to their financial games. I was the pawn, not the queen. My revenge a scripted dance, every step choreographed to keep me off balance while they cut side deals from cells. Rage peaked to supernova. But with it, clarity. No more flips. I'd end the cycle. Lawyered up with Ruiz's card, pro bono, her investment in a clean win. Sued for defamation, emotional distress, the works. The case exploded. Mom versus moguls. Tabloids crowing. Public split wider. Was I gold digging, or David to their Goliaths? Depositions dripped venom. Mark crumbling, admitting the frames. Victor stonewalling, his empire crumbling under parallel probes. Summer solstice. Lily and I escaped to a rented cottage in Maine, waves crashing like applause. She built sandcastles. I plotted the kill shot. Not death, but oblivion. Ghostwire helped one last time. A data dump to WikiLeaks, redacted for Lily's sake. Frat to fortune. The Harper Kane deception. It dropped like a bomb, exposing not just crimes, but the human rot, the faked paternity ploy, therapy confessions, the works. Fallout was biblical. Harper Investments imploded, stock tanking 80%. Victor's funds seized, his heiress, blonde, fleeing to Ibiza.
Mark?
Released on bail, but broken, public pariah, begging for scraps. He showed up at the cottage gate one dusk, gaunt in flannel, eyes hollow. Live, please. For Lily. I stepped out, shotgun, legally owned, post-expungement, loose in my grip. Not to shoot, to symbolize.
She's not yours to claim.
None of it was. He dropped to knees in the gravel, sobbing. Polarizing moment. Forgive the flawed man, or salt the earth. Go, I said. Echoes over. He slunk away, tail between legs. But the twist lingered, debate fodder for dinner parties. Had I won? Lily thrived, new school, therapy for us both, but scars etched deep. Was revenge justice, or just another betrayal of self? Winter returned, not as foe but familiar cloak, blanketing Maine's coast in huss. The cottage, once rental, now ours, bought with settlement scraps, a modest anchor in chaos. Lily, 6 now, skated on frozen ponds, her laughter thawing something in me long iced. The data dump's ripples lapped global, congressional hearings on elite manipulations, think pieces on the weaponized family. I testified in D.C., voice amplified by mics, not fury. They didn't just steal money, I told the suits, cameras whirring. They stole trust, the foundation of everything American. The room split audibly, applause from progressives, scowls from old money. Outside, protesters clashed, Justice for Moms signs waving beside Free the Job Creators placards. Polarization peaked. I became avatar, villain to some, vigilante to others. Late-night slots beckoned, CNN panels, where pundits dissected my moral ambiguity. Olivia Harper, hero or harbinger? One cheer blared. I declined, let the echo fade. Lily needed normalcy, not spotlights. Mark resurfaced in spring, a ghost in tabloids. Fallen tycoon starts food truck. Cliché redemption arc, flipping from boardroom to burgers. He reached out via Lily's school, volunteered for field trips, sent drawings she'd forgotten. I allowed supervised visits, not for him, but her. The first was awkward. Park bench in Portland, pigeons scavenging crumbs. Lily bridged us, chattering about ladybugs, while Mark's eyes pleaded absolution. I was scared, Liv.
The debts.
Victor pushed. Excuses, but laced with regret. Therapy's work, perhaps. I listened, shotgun memory distant. Scared men build cages, Mark. I broke mine. He nodded, tears tracking. No flip this time. Just a man unmasked. Victor? Rotting in Rikers, trial pending, his flips futile against RICO charges. Last I heard, he named names, dozens, buying time like a currency devalued. Summer bloomed vengeful sweet. The book deal landed. 6 figures for Echo of Betrayal, ghost-written but my voice. Tours and indie bookstores, Q&As where readers probed. Was it worth it? I'd pause, think of Lily's gap-toothed grin. Worth? Revenge isn't a ledger. It's survival. Debates raged in signings, women nodding fierce, men shifting uneasy. One night, post-reading in Boston, a fan cornered me. You polarized us, Olivia. Made us question our own cages. That was the win, unintended. Not ruin, but reckoning. A ripple turning tide. Fall brought closure. Mark's truck folded, but he stayed in Maine, coaching Little League, sober 2 years. We'd co-parent, civil, the snake skins shed. Victor's verdict dropped, 25, no parole. His last flip, suicide watch after a confession tape, railing against the bitch who broke us. Dismissed as delusion. Lily turned 7 under stars, bonfire crackling, S-morays sticky on her chin. Mommy, why'd Daddy go away? Truth time, age appropriate. Grown-up mistakes, bug. But we fixed 'em. She hugged me, small arms fierce. You're my hero.
Hero.
Harbinger. The line blurs in mirrors. As snow dusted again, I stood on the bluff, sound whispering secrets. The old life, Greenwich gloss, Wall Street wolves felt myth. Here, raw and real, I breathed free. But the echo? It lingers in quiet moments, a reminder. Betrayal births beasts, but forgiveness forges something fiercer, self. Twists tale. Months later, a letter from Mark, handwritten no please. I planted the real secret live, not the DNA, but this. Enclosed, deed to the Hamptons house in Lily's name. Clean title. For the girl who saved us all. Inside, the paper, notarized, a final flip, not to wound, but to atone. I burned it, not in rage, but release. Let him keep his gesture. We'd build anew. Debate rages on. Did I destroy or liberate? A happy ending? Tragic? In America's fractured lens, it's both. And that's the point. No one's wholly right, wholly wrong. Just human, echoing into dark. The end? Not quite. Lily dreams big, lawyer, she says, like you, Mom. I laugh, warn of shadows. But deep, I hope she never knows them. Or if she does, she'll wield the light.